What if you could walk through life unfazed by criticism, setbacks, or chaos, completely in control of your emotions and radiating unshakable confidence? In this video from ZENLIGHT 8, we dive into Napoleon Hill's timeless wisdom to teach you how to act as if nothing bothers you. Stick around until the end to discover practical, real-world strategies you can apply today to master your mind, command respect, and live with unstoppable power. Don't miss out. Subscribe to ZENLIGHT 8 and let's start this journey together. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. Rain pounding, winds howling, chaos swirling around you. And yet, you remain untouched. Your heart is steady, your mind clear, your presence unshaken. This is the essence of mastering the "nothing bothers me" mindset. A philosophy that doesn't just shield you from life's turbulence, but elevates you to a level of inner strength that commands respect without a single word. In a world that thrives on noise, endless opinions, petty criticisms, and unexpected setbacks, true power lies in your ability to control your emotions, to detach from external chaos, and to move through life with a quiet, unshakable confidence. This isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending problems don't exist. It's about choosing how you respond, reclaiming your power, and shaping your destiny with intention. Let's dive deep into this transformative mindset, explore its roots in philosophy and critical thinking, and uncover practical ways to apply it in today's fast-paced, often overwhelming world. The core of this mindset is emotional mastery. Every day we're bombarded with triggers. A snarky comment from a coworker, a missed deadline, a social media post that stings. For most, these moments spark knee-jerk reactions. Anger, self-doubt, or frustration. But what if you could pause, observe those emotions, and choose not to let them control you? This is where true strength begins. Napoleon Hill, the legendary author behind Think and Grow Rich, understood that thought precedes action. If you let external events dictate your mood, you become a puppet, strings pulled by circumstances beyond your control. But when you train your mind to remain steady, you become the architect of your reality. This idea echoes Stoic philosophy, particularly the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, who wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics believed that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This isn't just ancient wisdom. It's a blueprint for thriving in 2025, where distractions and pressures are relentless. Consider a real-world example: Sarah, a 32-year-old marketing manager in Chicago. Her team missed a major project deadline, and her boss publicly called her out in a meeting. The room went silent, eyes on her. Most would feel their face flush, their pulse race, maybe even snap back defensively. But Sarah had been practicing emotional detachment. She took a slow breath, nodded, and calmly said, "I hear you. Let's discuss how we can improve." Later, she analyzed the feedback, took what was useful, and let the rest go. Her composure didn't just defuse the tension. It earned her respect. Her boss later apologized, and her team rallied behind her. Sarah's secret? She visualized herself as unshakable before the meeting, mentally rehearsing how she'd handle criticism. This practice of visualization, picturing yourself as calm, confident, and in control, rewires your brain over time. Neuroscience backs this. Studies show that mental imagery activates the same neural pathways as real experiences, strengthening your ability to stay composed under pressure. But why does this matter so much today? In our hyper-connected world, we're constantly judged by colleagues, strangers online, even algorithms curating our feeds. Social media amplifies every opinion, making it easy to feel attacked or inadequate. A single negative comment on X can spiral into hours of overthinking. This is where critical thinking becomes your ally. Ask yourself, does this criticism reflect my worth, or is it just noise? Is this setback a defining failure, or a temporary detour? By questioning the weight of external events, you strip them of their power. Take the example of Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player ever. Early in his career, he was cut from his high school varsity team, a crushing blow for a teenager with big dreams. Most would have internalized that rejection, letting it erode their confidence. But Jordan used it as fuel. He trained harder, focused on what he could control, and let go of the need to prove himself to skeptics. His mindset wasn't just about talent. It was about refusing to let external judgments define him. That's the kind of mental fortitude we need in today's world, where comparison and criticism are just a swipe away. So, how do you cultivate this mindset in your own life? It starts with small, intentional practices. First, practice the pause. The next time you're triggered, maybe someone cuts you off in traffic or a friend makes a snide remark, resist the urge to react. Take 3 deep breaths, each one a reminder that you control your response. This simple act rewires your brain to prioritize logic over emotion. Over time, what once felt like a personal attack becomes just a moment, fleeting and powerless. Second, embrace visualization. Spend 5 minutes each morning picturing yourself navigating challenges with ease. See yourself smiling through a tough conversation, staying calm when plans fall apart, or walking away from conflict with your head held high. This isn't just positive thinking. It's mental conditioning, preparing you for the storms before they hit. Finally, reframe setbacks as data. Lost a job opportunity? Instead of spiraling, ask, what skills can I improve? What doors might this open? This shift turns failure into a stepping stone, not a roadblock. Let's ground this in another example. Meet James, a freelance graphic designer in Seattle. Last year, a high-profile client trashed his work on X, calling it amateur. The post got hundreds of likes, and James felt his confidence crumble. But instead of firing back or hiding, he leaned into the "nothing bothers me" mindset. He paused, assessed the critique, and realized most of it was vague and unhelpful. He reached out to the client privately, asking for specific feedback. To his surprise, the client admitted they were stressed and overreacted. James used the experience to refine his portfolio and landed 3 new clients within a month. By detaching from the emotional sting and focusing on what he could control, James turned a public embarrassment into a private victory. This is the power of emotional mastery. It doesn't just protect you, it propels you forward. This mindset also has roots in Eastern philosophy, like Buddhism, which teaches non-attachment. The idea isn't to stop caring but to stop clinging to outcomes, opinions, or even your own ego. In 2025, this is more relevant than ever. We're conditioned to chase likes, followers, and external validation. But true freedom comes from knowing your worth doesn't depend on a notification. Imagine walking into a meeting, posting on X, or facing a family argument, knowing that no one's reaction can shake you. That's not just confidence. It's power. It's the kind of presence that makes people lean in, wondering how you stay so steady when the world feels like it's crumbling. But this isn't about becoming cold or aloof. It's about balance, feeling deeply but choosing wisely how to act. You can be passionate about your goals, love fiercely, and still not let a rude comment or a missed opportunity derail you. This balance is what sets you apart in a culture that often rewards reactivity. Think of the leaders you admire. Maybe a CEO who stays calm during a crisis or a friend who handles conflict with grace. They don't suppress their emotions. They direct them, like a river carving a path through stone. You can do the same. Start today. The next time life throws a curveball, remind yourself, I am not my circumstances. I am my response. Mastering this mindset doesn't happen overnight. It's a muscle built through daily choices. But every time you choose calm over chaos, logic over impulse, you're forging a version of yourself that's untouchable. You're not just surviving life's storms. You're dancing in them, unshaken, unstoppable. And the best part? The world notices. People gravitate toward those who exude control, who don't flinch when the pressure's on. They wonder what your secret is, how you move through life with such ease. That's when you know you've mastered it, not because you've silenced the noise, but because you've learned to let it pass through you. As we've explored the art of emotional mastery, we've laid the foundation for true strength. But this is just the beginning. Next, we'll dive into the power of staying calm under pressure, uncovering how to respond with intention when the stakes are high and the world expects you to crack. Picture yourself in the eye of a storm, colleagues arguing, deadlines looming, notifications buzzing, yet you stand unshaken, your mind clear, your actions deliberate. This is the power of calmness, the hallmark of those who don't just survive life's chaos but thrive in it. While others react impulsively, letting emotions steer their words and actions, the truly strong pause, assess, and respond with intention. This isn't about suppressing what you feel, it's about mastering how you channel those feelings, turning potential outbursts into moments of clarity. And when you pair this with mindful indifference, the art of letting go of what doesn't matter, you unlock a superpower that allows you to focus your energy on what truly drives your purpose. In a world that rewards noise and reactivity, choosing calmness and selective focus sets you apart, making you not just resilient but unstoppable. Let's dive deep into these intertwined principles, weaving together philosophy, real-world stories, and practical strategies to help you harness them in 2025's fast-paced landscape. Calmness under pressure is a choice, not a gift. Most people, when faced with a heated argument or a sudden setback, let their emotions take the wheel. A harsh word from a boss, a snub from a friend, or a plan gone awry can spark anger, anxiety, or self-doubt. These reactions feel natural, instinctive even, but they're often costly. They cloud judgment, escalate conflicts, and drain energy that could be better spent elsewhere. The strongest individuals, however, don't fall into this trap. They've trained themselves to pause, a simple yet profound act that creates space between stimulus and response. In that space lies freedom, the freedom to choose how you show up in the world. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, captured this beautifully. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This isn't just a lofty ideal, it's a practical tool for navigating today's high-stakes environments, from corporate boardrooms to personal relationships. Take Emily, a 28-year-old nurse in Atlanta. During a chaotic shift in the ER, a patient's family lashed out, blaming her for a delay in care. The room tensed, colleagues froze, and Emily felt the sting of their words. Her instinct was to defend herself, to explain the understaffed reality of the hospital. But she'd been practicing the pause. She took a deep breath, locked eyes with the family, and said calmly, "I understand your frustration. Let's focus on what your loved one needs right now." Her steady tone de-escalated the situation, and the family later thanked her for her care. Emily's calmness didn't just resolve the conflict, it strengthened her reputation as a leader. This is the ripple effect of emotional control. One moment of composure can shift perceptions, build trust, and open doors. Research supports this. Studies from Harvard Business Review show that leaders who remain calm under pressure are perceived as more competent and trustworthy even when outcomes aren't perfect. But calmness isn't about bottling up emotions, it's about directing them. Suppressing feelings can lead to burnout or resentment, but controlling them means acknowledging what you feel without letting it hijack your actions. This distinction is critical in 2025, where mental health awareness is at an all-time high. We're encouraged to feel deeply, to be authentic, but authenticity doesn't mean reacting impulsively. It means aligning your actions with your values, even when emotions run hot. Imagine you're in a heated debate on X about a controversial topic. Someone attacks your viewpoint, twisting your words. The urge to fire back is strong, your fingers hover over the keyboard, ready to unleash a rebuttal. But what if you paused? What if you asked yourself, does this argument align with my purpose, or is it just ego? By stepping back, you gain clarity. Maybe you respond with a single, thoughtful sentence that cuts through the noise. Or maybe you walk away, knowing your peace is worth more than a fleeting win. This is emotional detachment in action, not coldness, but control. This control reduces stress and sharpens focus, two assets in today's distraction-heavy world. Chronic stress, according to the American Psychological Association, affects 77% of Americans, impacting health, productivity, and relationships. But calmness is a counterforce. When you choose not to react to every trigger, you conserve mental energy, leaving room for creativity and problem-solving. Think of it like a smartphone battery. Every impulsive reaction drains your charge, but deliberate responses keep you powered up. This clarity is what separates those who crumble under pressure from those who rise above it. Historical figures like Abraham Lincoln embodied this. Known for his calm demeanor during the Civil War, Lincoln once received a scathing letter from a general. Instead of firing back, he wrote a response, then tucked it away, choosing silence over conflict. His restraint preserved unity and focus, proving that calmness isn't weakness, it's strategy. Now, let's weave in mindful indifference, the art of letting go of what doesn't matter to prioritize what does. Society conditions us to care about everything, what people think, how we're perceived, whether we're keeping up with trends. But this obsession scatters our energy, leaving us reactive and drained. Mindful indifference isn't apathy, it's discernment. It's recognizing that your attention is a finite resource, like a $100 bill you can only spend once. Why waste it on petty slights, temporary setbacks, or opinions from people who don't know your journey? The key is to ask, will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, let it go. This question is a lifeline in 2025, where we're bombarded with information, 24/7 news cycles, viral X posts, endless notifications. Without selective focus, you risk drowning in noise. Consider Alex, a 35-year-old entrepreneur in San Francisco. His startup faced a public relations crisis when a competitor spread rumors about his product's quality. Social media erupted, with ex-users piling on. Alex's team urged him to respond, to fight back. But Alex practiced mindful indifference. He asked, does this gossip threaten our mission, or is it just chatter? He realized the rumors were baseless, driven by envy. Instead of engaging, he doubled down on improving his product. 6 months later, his company's sales soared and the critics were forgotten. Alex's story mirrors the philosophy of Lao Tzu, who wrote in the Tao Te Ching, care about what other people think and you will always be their prisoner. By letting go of irrelevant noise, Alex reclaimed his power, proving that indifference, when mindful, is a path to freedom. This principle resonates with critical thinking, a skill more vital than ever in our polarized world. Critical thinking teaches us to question assumptions, to separate signal from noise. When someone criticizes you, don't just absorb it, analyze it. Is it constructive, rooted in expertise? Or is it destructive, born of insecurity? By filtering feedback through this lens, you protect your peace and stay focused on your goals. Take Taylor Swift as a modern example. Early in her career, she faced relentless criticism about her voice, her dating life, her authenticity. Most would have buckled, but Swift used mindful indifference. She ignored the haters, honed her craft, and let her work speak. Today, she's a global icon, not because she fought every critic, but because she prioritized her vision over their noise. How do you apply these principles in your life? Start with the pause, as we discussed. Make it a habit. When emotions surge, count to 5 before speaking or acting. This tiny delay builds discipline, turning reactivity into responsiveness. Next, practice selective attention. Each morning, write down 3 things that truly matter: your health, your family, your career goals. When distractions arise, measure them against this list. If they don't align, let them pass. This is especially powerful on platforms like X, where every post feels urgent. Before you engage, ask, does this deserve my energy? Finally, reframe challenges as tests. A rude coworker, a missed promotion, a flat tire, they're not attacks, they're opportunities to practice calmness and indifference. Each time you stay steady, you strengthen your mental muscle, like a runner adding miles to their endurance. These practices aren't just personal, they're professional game changers. In workplaces across America, from Silicon Valley to Wall Street, emotional intelligence is a top predictor of success. A 2023 study by LinkedIn found that 92% of hiring managers value soft skills like composure and focus over technical expertise. When you walk into a meeting unruffled, ignoring side-eye or office gossip, you signal strength. When you handle a crisis without panic, you inspire trust. This is the edge that calmness and mindful indifference give you, an edge that shines in a world where everyone's shouting to be heard. But this isn't about becoming detached from life's joys. You can still celebrate wins, laugh with friends, chase dreams. The difference is you don't let fleeting frustrations derail you. You feel the sting of a slight, but you don't dwell. You notice a setback, but you don't let it define you. This balance is what makes you magnetic, someone others admire but can't quite figure out. They wonder how you stay so composed, how you move through chaos with such grace. The answer lies in your ability to pause, to choose, to focus only on what fuels your purpose. As we've explored the transformative power of calmness and mindful indifference, we've uncovered tools to navigate life's noise with clarity and strength. But these are just stepping stones. Next, we'll delve into the art of releasing the need for approval, discovering how to break free from external validation and build a confidence that nothing can shake. Imagine walking into a room, your head held high, your heart steady, unswayed by the whispers of judgment or the need to win everyone's approval. Now picture yourself facing a barrage of criticism, a colleague's sharp remark, a stranger's harsh words on X, a friend's subtle jab, and instead of crumbling, you stand firm, sifting through the noise with clarity, taking what serves you and letting the rest fall away. This is the essence of true freedom, breaking free from the trap of seeking external validation and handling criticism with wisdom. In a world obsessed with likes, followers, and applause, choosing self-reliance over approval and logic over emotional reactivity is a radical act of power. These twin principles, releasing the need for others' validation and navigating criticism with discernment, equip you to move through life unshaken, confident, and in control. Let's dive into these transformative ideas, blending philosophy, real-world stories, and practical tools to help you apply them in the fast-moving, judgment-heavy landscape of 2025. The urge to seek approval is a human instinct hardwired into our social nature. From childhood, we're taught to please parents, teachers, peers because fitting in feels safe. But as adults, this habit becomes a cage. When you tie your worth to others' opinions, you hand over the keys to your happiness. Every decision, from what you post on X to how you dress or speak, becomes a performance filtered through the lens of what will they think. This is a losing game. No matter how hard you try, you'll never please everyone. Someone will always disapprove, misunderstand, or simply not care. The cost of chasing universal approval is steep. You lose your authenticity, your energy, and worst of all, your control. The philosopher Epictetus, a Stoic master, nailed this 2,000 years ago. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Other people's opinions? Beyond your control. Your self-worth? Entirely in your hands. This truth is more urgent than ever in 2025, where social media amplifies the pressure to perform. A single post on X can garner hundreds of reactions, from praise to vitriol, and it's tempting to let those responses define you. But consider someone like Ryan, a 30-year-old software developer in Austin. Early in his career, Ryan obsessed over his colleagues' approval, tweaking his ideas to fit their expectations. He'd stay late, take on extra tasks, and avoid rocking the boat, all to be seen as the good guy. But the harder he tried, the more drained he felt, and his work suffered. One day, after a mentor challenged him to prioritize his own vision, Ryan made a shift. He started pitching bold ideas even when they raised eyebrows. He stopped explaining himself to skeptics and focused on his craft. The result? His team began to respect his confidence, and he landed a promotion. Ryan's story echoes a universal truth. True confidence isn't earned through applause, it's built through self-reliance. Self-reliance doesn't mean arrogance or isolation. It means trusting your own judgment, celebrating your wins, and knowing your value without needing a chorus of agreement. This is where critical thinking comes in. In a culture that thrives on snap judgments, pausing to question whose opinions matter is a game-changer. Ask yourself, does this person's approval align with my goals? Are they invested in my journey, or are they just passing through? More often than not, the loudest critics are strangers on X or acquaintances who don't know your story. Their words carry no weight unless you give them power. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Early in her career, she faced skepticism. Too emotional, too unconventional, they said. But Oprah didn't chase validation. She leaned into her vision, built her empire, and became a global force, not because she pleased everyone, but because she believed in herself. That's the kind of unshakable self-belief we need today, when every click and comment can feel like a verdict or a verdict on your worth. So, how do you break free from the approval trap? Start by validating yourself. Each day, write down one thing you're proud of, a small win, like finishing a tough project, or a big one, like standing up for your values. This builds a reservoir of self-worth that no one can touch. Next, practice saying no. Decline invitations, projects, or debates that don't serve your purpose. Saying no is a declaration of independence, a reminder that your time and energy are yours to allocate. Finally, embrace discomfort. Share an idea that might not land perfectly. Post on X without obsessing over likes. The more you act without needing approval, the freer you become. This isn't about becoming untouchable, it's about becoming unbreakable, someone who moves through life with authenticity and purpose, not because everyone agrees, but because you do. But what happens when the world pushes back? That's where handling criticism wisely comes in. Criticism is inevitable, whether it's a coworker's feedback, a family member's judgment, or a stranger's X post. Most people take it personally, letting it chip away at their confidence. But criticism only has power if you let it. The strongest among us don't dodge it, they face it with logic, sifting through the words to find what's useful and discarding the rest. This isn't about ignoring feedback, but about filtering it through a lens of discernment. There are two types of criticism: constructive, which offers insight to grow, and destructive, which aims to tear you down. The trick is knowing the difference and responding accordingly. As the writer Anne Lamott once said, you don't have to take every piece of advice. You get to decide what's helpful and what's just someone's opinion. Let's meet Priya, a 27-year-old graphic designer in Los Angeles. During a client presentation, her work was called uninspired by a senior executive. The room went quiet and Priya felt her stomach drop. Her instinct was to shrink, to apologize. But she'd been practicing critical thinking. She paused, then asked, "Can you share what specifically felt off? I'd love to align with your vision." The executive, caught off guard, pointed out a color scheme that clashed. Priya took the note, adjusted her design, and the next meeting was a hit. The rest of the critique, vague and unhelpful, she let go. Priya's approach wasn't defensive or dismissive, it was strategic. She used the feedback to grow without letting it define her. This is the power of handling criticism wisely. It turns potential wounds into stepping stones. This skill is vital in 2025, where criticism is amplified by digital platforms. A single X post can spark a pylon with strangers dissecting your words or appearance. Without a filter, you risk internalizing the noise. But critical thinking, asking, is this feedback specific? Is it from someone credible? Shields you. Take Elon Musk, a lightning rod for criticism. Whether you admire him or not, his ability to shrug off detractors is notable. When critics slam his ventures, he doesn't engage in petty spats, he focuses on his goals, letting results speak. This isn't about arrogance but about priority. Musk knows most criticism is noise, not signal, and he doesn't waste energy on it. You can do the same. The next time you're criticized, pause. Ask, does this help me grow? If yes, use it. If no, release it. How do you build this habit? First, practice detachment. When criticism lands, don't react instantly. Write down the feedback, sleep on it, and revisit it with a clear head. This distance helps you separate emotion from logic. Second, seek constructive feedback proactively. Ask mentors or trusted peers for specific input on your work. This builds resilience and sharpens your ability to discern quality critique. Finally, reframe criticism as a test. Each comment is a chance to prove your strength, to show you can listen without losing your core. This mindset transforms criticism from a threat to an opportunity, making you not just resilient but anti-fragile, stronger with every challenge. These principles, releasing approval and handling criticism, aren't just personal tools, they're professional superpowers. In American workplaces, where collaboration and feedback are constant, showing up confident and composed sets you apart. A 2024 Gallup study found that employees who manage feedback well are 30% more likely to be promoted. When you don't need validation, you take risks. When you handle criticism with grace, you build trust. This is the edge that carries you through boardrooms, creative pitches, or even family dinners. You'll still feel the sting of disapproval or the weight of a harsh word. That's human. But you don't have to let it steer you. You can choose to stand firm, rooted in your own worth, guided by your own compass. This is freedom, not the absence of judgment, but the power to rise above it. People will notice. They'll wonder how you stay so steady, how you move through life with such quiet strength. And that's when you know you've mastered it, not because you've silenced the critics, but because you've learned to listen to yourself. As we've uncovered the art of breaking free from approval and navigating criticism, we've built a foundation for unshakable confidence. But there's more to explore. Next, we'll dive into keeping your composure under pressure and letting go of what you can't control, unlocking the secrets to thriving in life's toughest moments. Imagine standing at the edge of a high-stakes moment, a deadline crashing down, a heated confrontation, or a sudden crisis threatening to derail your plans. The air feels heavy, pulses race, and the world seems to demand an immediate reaction. Yet, you remain calm, your mind sharp, your actions deliberate. This is the art of staying composed under pressure, a skill that transforms chaos into opportunity. But true mastery goes deeper. It's about letting go of what you can't control, releasing the need to force outcomes, and flowing with life's unpredictability like a river carving its path around obstacles. In a world that thrives on urgency and perfectionism, these twin principles, maintaining composure and embracing surrender, equip you to navigate life's storms with grace and resilience. They're not just survival tactics, they're the keys to thriving in 2025's relentless pace. Let's dive into these transformative ideas, weaving together philosophy, real-world stories, and practical strategies to help you stay steady and move forward no matter what life throws your way. Pressure is a universal constant. From the boardrooms of New York to the living rooms of small-town America, we all face moments that test our resolve. A project fails, a loved one lashes out, or an unexpected expense upends your budget. Most people crack under these moments, reacting with panic, frustration, or despair. They fight against the chaos, wishing for a smoother path, only to exhaust themselves in the struggle. But the strongest among us don't resist reality, they prepare for it. They know pressure isn't an anomaly, it's a certainty. By anticipating challenges, they condition their minds to stay steady when the storm hits. This mindset draws from Stoic philosophy, particularly Seneca, who wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." In other words, pressure often feels overwhelming because we inflate its power in our minds. By reframing it as a test of discipline, you strip it of its menace and reclaim your power. Consider Maya, a 34-year-old high school principal in Denver. During a tense school board meeting, parents demanded answers about budget cuts, their voices rising with anger. The room crackled with tension, and Maya felt the weight of every eye on her. Most would have fumbled, deflecting blame or over-explaining. But Maya had trained for this. She'd spent months practicing mental rehearsal, visualizing herself navigating tough conversations with calm precision. She took a slow breath, stood tall, and said, "I hear your concerns. Let's walk through the numbers and find solutions together." Her composure shifted the room's energy. The parents calmed, the discussion turned productive, and Maya emerged as a trusted leader. Her secret? She expected pressure and prepared her mind to meet it. Neuroscience supports this. Studies show that mental rehearsal strengthens neural pathways, making calm responses second nature. Maya's story is a reminder that composure isn't luck, it's a skill honed through intention. This skill is critical in 2025, where pressure comes from all angles: work from home burnout, social media scrutiny, economic uncertainty. The American Psychological Association reports that 80% of Americans feel stressed by workplace demands, with many citing tight deadlines and high expectations. But composure gives you an edge. It's not about controlling every outcome because you can't, but about controlling your response. This is where detachment from the need for control becomes transformative. Most people crumble under pressure because they cling to an illusion of perfection, believing life should be predictable. When it's not, they panic. But those who detach from this need don't fight the chaos, they move with it. They respond strategically, not emotionally, turning obstacles into opportunities. Think of a seasoned pilot navigating turbulence. They don't curse the wind, they adjust the controls, trusting their training. You can do the same, steering through life's turbulence with steady hands. This brings us to the art of letting go, a principle that complements composure by freeing you from the burdens of what you can't control. Suffering often stems from attachment to outcomes, expectations, or the way we think life should be. We grip tightly to the job we want, the approval we crave, or the plans we've meticulously crafted. When reality diverges, we resist, and that resistance breeds pain. But what if you could release that grip? What if you could accept life's unpredictability and adapt, like a river flowing around rocks? This is the essence of letting go, not giving up, but redirecting your energy to what you can influence. The Buddhist concept of non-attachment captures this beautifully. It's not about detachment from life, but from the illusion that you can control its every turn. By letting go, you find peace, not in the absence of challenges, but in your ability to move through them. Take Ethan, a 29-year-old small business owner in Miami. His bakery was thriving until a supply chain crisis doubled his costs. Orders dropped, and Ethan faced the real possibility of closing shop. Most would have spiraled, replaying what went wrong or blaming external forces. But Ethan embraced letting go. He acknowledged the crisis was beyond his control, then focused on what he could do: renegotiate with suppliers, pivot to local ingredients, and launch a social media campaign to rally customers. On X, he shared his story transparently, posting, "We're in a tough spot, but we're fighting. Join us." The community responded, and within months, his bakery was back on track. Ethan's resilience came from accepting reality and adapting, not resisting. His story echoes Lao Tzu's wisdom: "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." By releasing what he couldn't control, Ethan unlocked new possibilities. In 2025, letting go is a survival skill. We're bombarded with variables we can't dictate: global markets, algorithm-driven platforms, even the weather. Clinging to rigid expectations only breeds frustration. Critical thinking helps here. When you're stressed, pause and ask, what's in my control? If it's your effort, your attitude, or your next step, focus there. If it's someone's opinion, a market crash, or a delayed flight, let it go. This discernment saves energy and sharpens focus. Look at Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes ever. Throughout her career, she faced uncontrollable setbacks, injuries, biased referees, public scrutiny. Yet she never let these define her. She focused on her training, her mindset, her game. Her ability to let go of external noise and stay composed under pressure made her a legend. You don't need to be a superstar to follow her lead, you just need to prioritize what you can influence. How do you build these habits in your life? For composure, start with preparation. Each week, spend 5 minutes visualizing worst-case scenarios: a tough meeting, a family argument, a missed deadline. Picture yourself staying calm, breathing deeply, responding with clarity. This mental rehearsal, backed by research from Stanford, reduces anxiety and boosts performance. Next, practice the 3-second rule. When pressure hits, count to 3 before acting. This tiny pause disrupts impulsive reactions, giving you space to choose wisely. For letting go, try the control filter. When you're stressed, write down what's bothering you, then split it into 2 columns: I can control and I can't control. Focus your energy on the first column and release the second. Finally, embrace small surrenders daily. Stuck in traffic? Let go of the urge to fume. Plans change? Adapt with a smile. These micro-acts build resilience, making you anti-fragile, stronger with every challenge. These principles aren't just personal, they're professional gold. In American workplaces where adaptability is prized, staying composed and letting go signal leadership. A 2024 McKinsey study found that employees who handle stress strategically are 40% more likely to thrive in high-pressure roles. When you stay calm during a crisis, you inspire confidence. When you let go of uncontrollable setbacks, you pivot faster. This is the edge that sets you apart, whether you're pitching to investors or parenting through a tantrum. You'll still feel pressure's weight or the pang of letting go. That's human, but you don't have to let it steer you. You can choose to breathe, to adapt, to flow like a river around life's obstacles. This is strength, not in fighting every battle, but in choosing which ones matter. People will notice. They'll wonder how you stay so steady, how you move through chaos with such ease. And that's when you know you've mastered it, not because you've conquered the world, but because you've conquered yourself. As we've explored the power of composure and letting go, we've unlocked tools to thrive in life's toughest moments. But there's more to this journey. Next, we'll dive into the strength of silence and the discipline of mental training, revealing how to wield quiet power and forge an unshakable mind. Picture yourself in a heated moment, a negotiation teetering on the edge, a confrontation crackling with tension, or a conversation where every word feels like a landmine. The room buzzes with noise, everyone scrambling to be heard, to prove their point. Yet you remain silent, your presence steady, your gaze unflinching. In that silence, you hold the reins, shifting the dynamic without uttering a word. This is the power of silence, a weapon that commands respect and creates an aura of mystery. But true strength runs deeper. It's forged in the daily discipline of training your mind to stay calm, resilient, and unshakable no matter what life throws at you. In a world addicted to chatter and instant reactions, choosing silence and cultivating mental toughness set you apart as a force, quiet, deliberate, unstoppable. These principles, wielding silence strategically and building a fortified mind, are your tools to navigate the chaos of 2025 with grace and power. Let's dive into their depths, blending philosophy, real-world stories, and practical strategies to help you master them in today's fast-paced, noisy world. Silence is a rare commodity in our culture. We're conditioned to fill every gap with words on X, in meetings, even in casual chats, because speaking feels like asserting control. But the most powerful people don't need to shout to be heard. They understand that silence is a weapon, a strategic pause that shifts the balance of power. When you hold back, you create tension, forcing others to reveal their thoughts, insecurities, or intentions. Silence makes people uncomfortable. They rush to fill it, often exposing more than they meant to. In that moment, you become the observer, the strategist, gathering insights while revealing nothing. This isn't about being passive, it's about being deliberate. As the Chinese philosopher Confucius once said, silence is a true friend who never betrays. In a world where everyone's desperate to be noticed, the one who speaks less often holds the most sway. Take Javier, a 38-year-old lawyer in Chicago. During a high-stakes deposition, the opposing counsel tried to rattle him, peppering him with aggressive questions. The room grew tense, everyone expecting Javier to fire back. Instead, he paused, letting the silence stretch. He sipped his water, locked eyes with the lawyer, and waited. The counsel faltered, repeating themselves, their confidence crumbling. When Javier finally spoke, his words were precise, cutting through the noise like a blade. The deposition turned in his favor, not because he outshouted anyone, but because his silence commanded the room. Javier's approach mirrors a tactic used by negotiators, the power pause. Studies from Harvard Business School show that strategic silence in negotiations increases concessions by up to 20% as it pressures others to fill the void. Javier's silence wasn't just a tactic, it was a statement of control, proving that less can indeed be more. This principle is vital in 2025, where digital noise is relentless. On X, conversations move at lightning speed, with users vying for attention through rapid-fire posts. It's tempting to jump in to counter every jab or flaunt every win. But silence online can be just as powerful. Imagine someone attacks your viewpoint in a thread. Instead of firing back, you wait. The thread grows, others chime in, often overreaching or contradicting themselves. When you finally respond calm, concise, thoughtful, your words land with weight. This restraint isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's what separates the reactive from the respected. Look at figures like Angela Merkel, Germany's former chancellor. Known for her reserved style, Merkel rarely spoke impulsively. Her silence during crises forced others to reveal their positions, giving her the upper hand. Her quiet presence commanded global respect, proving that silence isn't empty, it's potent. But silence alone isn't enough. To wield it effectively, you need a mind that's steady, disciplined, and resilient. This brings us to the art of training your mind to stay calm, a process that builds mental strength through daily habits. Your mind is a battlefield where doubts, fears, and distractions wage war. The strongest among us aren't immune to these, they've simply learned to master them. Mental toughness isn't a gift, it's a muscle forged through resistance, just as a runner builds endurance through miles of grit. Every challenge, from a missed deadline to a personal slight, is a chance to strengthen that muscle. By cultivating habits like gratitude, discipline, and emotional detachment, you transform your mind into a fortress unshakable by external chaos. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, the mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. Consider Aisha, a 26-year-old marketing coordinator in Seattle. Early in her career, she struggled with anxiety, overthinking every email, meeting, or post. A harsh comment from her boss could ruin her week, but Aisha decided to train her mind. She started small, 5 minutes of gratitude journaling each morning, listing 3 things she appreciated, from her morning coffee to a kind coworker. This shifted her focus from stress to abundance. She added discipline, committing to a daily 20-minute workout even on tough days, building resilience through consistency. Most crucially, she practiced emotional detachment, pausing before reacting to triggers. When her boss criticized a campaign, Aisha didn't spiral. She took a breath, asked for specific feedback, and let the emotional sting pass. Over time, her confidence grew and her team noticed. Aisha's transformation wasn't overnight, it was the result of daily choices, each one a brick in her mental fortress. Research from the Journal of Positive Psychology backs this. Gratitude and discipline boost mental resilience by up to 30%, reducing stress and enhancing focus. In 2025, mental training is a necessity. We're bombarded with distractions, endless notifications, polarizing debates, economic pressures. Without a disciplined mind, it's easy to react impulsively, letting emotions cloud judgment. But a trained mind stays steady. It's what allowed historical figures like Nelson Mandela to endure decades of imprisonment without losing hope. Mandela practiced gratitude, reflecting on small joys like a letter from family. He stayed disciplined, studying law in his cell. He detached from bitterness, choosing forgiveness over revenge. His unshakable mind didn't just free him, it changed a nation. You don't need Mandela's stakes to follow his lead. Every day offers chances to train. Waking up early despite fatigue, staying silent in a heated argument, pushing through a tough project when you want to quit. How do you build this mental strength? Start with gratitude. Each night, write down one moment that brought you joy or pride. This rewires your brain to seek positivity, countering stress. Next, embrace discipline. Set one non-negotiable daily habit. Reading 10 pages, meditating for 5 minutes, or walking a mile, and stick to it, no excuses. This builds self-trust, the foundation of resilience. For silence, practice restraint. In conversations, wait 3 seconds before speaking. Let others fill the gap and observe. Online, resist the urge to reply instantly to every post. Finally, reframe challenges as training. A rude comment, a delayed flight, a work setback. These aren't attacks. They're reps in your mental gym. Each time you stay calm, you grow stronger. These habits aren't just personal, they're professional dynamite. In American workplaces where emotional intelligence drives success, a disciplined mind and strategic silence signal leadership. A 2024 LinkedIn study found that 88% of hiring managers prioritize candidates who stay calm and focused. When you pause before responding in a meeting, you project confidence. When you train your mind to handle stress, you solve problems others can't. This is the edge that sets you apart, whether you're pitching a startup or navigating office politics. You'll still feel the urge to speak, to react, to cling to control. That's human. But you can choose to pause, to train, to let your silence and strength speak louder than words. This is power, not in dominating others, but in mastering yourself. People will notice. They'll wonder how you stay so composed, how you wield such quiet authority. And that's when you know you've mastered it. Not because you've silenced the world, but because you've fortified your mind to rise above it. As we've uncovered the strength of silence and the discipline of mental training, we've built tools to command respect and resilience. But there's one final piece to this journey. Next, we'll explore the art of moving in silence, revealing how to let your actions speak louder than words and achieve greatness without seeking the spotlight. Imagine building something extraordinary, a career, a dream, a legacy, not with fanfare or applause, but with quiet, relentless focus. You work hard, keep your plans close, and let your results roar louder than any announcement ever could. This is the art of moving in silence, the final piece of a mindset that transforms you into an unstoppable force. In a world obsessed with shouting every milestone on X, seeking validation at every turn, choosing to act quietly is a radical act of power. True strength doesn't need a spotlight. It shines through deeds, not declarations. As we close this journey through Napoleon Hill's timeless wisdom, we'll explore how to harness this silent strength, weave together the lessons we've learned, and apply them to thrive in 2025's noisy, fast-paced world. Let's dive into the power of moving in silence, reflect on our path, and ignite action to live with unshakable confidence and purpose. Moving in silence is about letting your actions speak louder than your words. In our culture, there's pressure to broadcast every step. Post your goals on X, share your hustle, prove you're on the rise. But this noise invites scrutiny, doubt, and distraction. The loudest voices often crave attention, not impact. The strongest, however, work quietly, their focus unbroken by the need for applause. They understand that real power lies in execution, not announcement. When you keep your plans private, you protect your energy, sidestep naysayers, and let your success surprise the world. This principle draws from ancient wisdom, like the Taoist saying, "The sage does not speak of what he does, but nothing is left undone." In 2025, where oversharing is the norm, moving in silence is a superpower that sets you apart as a doer, not a talker. Consider Marcus, a 32-year-old entrepreneur in Philadelphia. He dreamed of launching a sustainable clothing brand but knew the market was crowded and skeptical. Instead of hyping his idea on X or seeking investors' approval, Marcus worked in silence. He spent a year researching eco-friendly fabrics, designing prototypes, and building a small online store, all without fanfare. When he finally launched, he didn't announce it with a splashy campaign. He sent samples to a few influencers, let word spread organically, and focused on quality. Within 6 months, his brand was featured in a major fashion blog, and orders poured in. Marcus's success wasn't luck, it was strategy. By moving in silence, he avoided the noise of critics and competitors, letting his results speak. His story echoes a truth from the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Always say less than necessary. Silence builds mystique, and success amplifies it. This approach is critical in today's digital age. On platforms like X, premature announcements can backfire. Share your startup idea and you risk copycats. Post your fitness journey, and you invite unsolicited advice. But silence creates space for focus. It's what allowed innovators like Steve Jobs to stun the world with the iPhone. Apple didn't leak every prototype. They worked in secrecy, unveiling a game changer when ready. You don't need to be a tech titan to adopt this mindset. Whether you're studying for a degree, writing a novel, or saving for a house, keeping your goals private shields you from doubt and keeps your eyes on the prize. The less you say, the more you do, and the more the world notices when you succeed. But moving in silence isn't about hiding. It's about priority. It's choosing to invest your energy in action, not explanation. This requires discipline, especially when society rewards visibility. Critical thinking helps here. Before sharing a plan, ask, does this serve my goal, Or am I seeking validation? If it's the latter, hold back. This discernment protects your focus and builds resilience. Look at Beyoncé. In 2013, she shocked the world by dropping her self-titled album without warning. No teasers, no leaks, just a masterpiece, fully formed. The surprise amplified her impact, proving that silence can be louder than any marketing blitz. You can channel this energy in your life, letting your work, whether a project, a skill, or a personal transformation, speak when it's ready. How do you practice moving in silence? Start by setting private goals. Write them in a journal, not on X. Break them into small, actionable steps and tackle them quietly. Next, resist the urge to explain. If someone questions your path, smile and say, "I'm working on something." This deflects curiosity without revealing your hand. Finally, celebrate progress internally. Reward yourself for milestones. A quiet dinner, a new book, without needing public applause. These habits build a mindset that thrives on results, not recognition. In American workplaces, where hustle culture often demands visibility, this approach stands out. A 2024 Forbes study found that employees who focus on outcomes over self-promotion are 25% more likely to be seen as leaders. Quiet action signals confidence, and confidence commands respect. As we reflect on this journey, let's weave together the lessons from mastering the "nothing bothers me" mindset to moving in silence. It began with emotional control, learning to detach from external chaos to command your destiny. We explored the power of calmness, pausing to respond with intention, and mindful indifference, prioritizing energy for what matters. We broke free from seeking approval, building self-reliance, and learned to handle criticism with logic, not emotion. Composure under pressure and letting go of the uncontrollable taught us to adapt like a river, flowing past obstacles. Silence became a weapon, shifting power dynamics, while mental training forged an unshakable mind through gratitude and discipline. Now, moving in silence completes the circle, showing that true power lies in action, not announcement. Together, these principles form a blueprint for living with unshakable confidence, a life where you control your mind, emotions, and reactions, no matter the storm. This blueprint is more than philosophy, it's a call to action for 2025. We live in a world of noise, where distractions, judgments, and pressures threaten to derail us. But you can rise above. Start small. Pause before reacting. Let go of one uncontrollable worry. Stay silent in a tense moment. Build daily habits, gratitude journaling, disciplined routines, private goal setting that strengthen your mental core. Use critical thinking to filter noise, asking, "Does this serve my purpose?" Apply these in your career, relationships, and personal growth. Whether you're navigating a toxic workplace, chasing a dream, or healing from a setback, these tools empower you to stay steady, focused, and free. The result? A life of quiet power, where your presence speaks louder than words, and your success silences doubters. Here's my advice for living this mindset today. Embrace the power of choice. Every day you choose how to respond to stress, criticism, or temptation. Choose calm over chaos, action over talk, purpose over distraction. In a culture that glorifies hustle and oversharing, be the one who moves with intention, who builds in silence, who thrives without needing a spotlight. This isn't just about surviving 2025. It's about shaping a life that inspires others. Your strength will ripple, drawing people to your confidence, your clarity, your quiet power. So take the first step today. Pause, reflect, act, and watch how the world bends to your will. Now, let's ignite this journey together. If this resonated with you, head over to the ZENLIGHT 8 YouTube channel and subscribe for more wisdom to transform your life. Drop the number 888 in the comments to show you're ready to live with unshakable strength. It's a signal to the universe that you're in this. Share your thoughts, your struggles, your wins. Let's build a community of doers, not talkers. Hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs it, and join us at ZENLIGHT 8 to keep growing, one silent, powerful step at a time. Your journey to unstoppable confidence starts now. Let's make it happen.